What's up, and welcome to episode 285 of First Geek 411. This week, we're chatting the Doctor, the Assassin, and the Wizard, and with me on this journey from West Coast, Best Coast, is Emma. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Back to my normal routine. So,
Nice.
life is good.
We'll talk about why you weren't on your normal routine in a bit. But
Yeah.
my name is Cameron. As I said at the top, we are First Geek 411. You can find us around the internet with that. Social media, Discord, email, Twitch, and YouTube Monday nights around 6:30, 6:45 Mountain Time. Hanging out. You can also catch the VODs over on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, support the algorithm, all of that kind of stuff. Then you can also find our Redbubble store. But Emma,
Heck
let's
yeah.
jump into it. I think you probably have the most exciting news. What have you
I
been
do.
up to this past week-ish?
Week-ish. Well, the week before last, I was in Hawaii with my family. So that's why we weren't around. We were
Not at all
there for
jealous.
10 days. I know. Yeah. My mom paid for my ticket, my flights, and I asked her how much they were to pay her back, and she's like, "You don't need to pay me back." And I'm like, "But I want to. I have the money. I'm a working adult with a full-time job." And she's like, "Don't pay me back." So, you know. But yeah, we hung out in Hawaii, and I got to spend so much time with my cute little 2-year-old nephew, and it was so
Nice.
great. He's like cutest little boy. Um, he talks in like 3-word sentences now, and it's so cute. He hasn't figured out like I as a concept yet for like referring to yourself. So whenever he's like talking about himself or that he wants something, he'll like point to himself and say his name. And it's so cute. He'll go, Felix. Felix want grape. And it's so cute. It's the cutest thing on just on the planet. Um, and it was so fun. And then I FaceTimed with my sister yesterday, my sister and brother-in-law, and I learned after the fact, or just like during or whatever, that I'm the only family member for which Felix will steal the phone from my sister whenever we're on FaceTime. Everyone else is just like, yeah, whatever, you can talk. You can talk to the family member, Mom. I don't care. When I show up, he's like, the phone is mine now.
Listen to me. I
So
will talk to you.
yeah. So I feel like I am succeeding in the auntie role, and I love it. I love being an aunt, and I love my cute little goofy goober. He's my little bucko, as I call him. And that's great. And then I watched the Severance season final
Nice.
for season 2. Loved all of it. I have complaints about the last 45 seconds strictly
Okay.
from a technical standpoint as someone who is an editor. Like, I understand some of the like story intentions, but technically speaking, for a show that is so well executed technically, it felt like their weakest moment. And was not pulled off to the fullest that they could have done it to. So that's like all I'm gonna say about it without spoiling anything for anyone because it just came out this last Friday, like 3 days ago. So that's all I can really say. Again, I am a video film editor, so like I know enough to be like, that's just wrong with me. Anyway, that is that. It's great. We love marching bands. If you know, you know. And then the last thing that happened this last week, which is very exciting because it was hard to accomplish, was I got tickets for Sleep Token's tour happening in September and October. And they are a British band that is doing a stadium tour here in the US for the first time in years. And so the level of stress and panic that goes into getting tickets for them is essentially the same that goes into getting Taylor Swift tickets. That's how intense this
Dang.
process is.
Okay.
No, like literally, it's true.
Wow.
Like that's actually like
No, I believe you.
how people that's what people compare it to because it's there. And so one of my best friends and I were both sitting in the queue, and we were like, okay, she's gonna get Seattle tickets, and I'm gonna aim for LA tickets. And whichever set of tickets we get is gonna be the one that we go to. And the other of us will just fly to wherever that is. So we were tag teaming it to try and get tickets. We both got a set of tickets, so she's just gonna sell hers. But literally all of their locations for this US tour sold out within 4 days. So they are completely sold out now. And this has like 20 stops. So it's insane. And we lucked out and got tickets. And I am so excited for October to come because this is one of my favorite bands and they have great music. And they like never come to the US. So I'm so excited that I get to go see Sleep Token. Yeah. So that's like my big exciting thing from this last week. So
nice. I need to watch Severance. I've never seen it. Like
it's so
a show
good.
that like
you would
I know
you
I
would
would
love
like,
it. Yes.
But
I've been
I
talking
don't know if
to
we
people.
have Apple TV.
It's worth it to get just for Severance. Like you can get it and watch the 2 seasons and then cancel again, and like that works. I think you would really like it. We did at one
point because we watched Ted Lasso, but like I don't remember if it was something that we mooched or whatever. But like yeah, everything I've seen about it, like I feel like I would love it. I just haven't watched any of it.
It's so worth it. I highly recommend it.
I'll get there at some point. I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Correct me if I'm like confusing things or misremembering, but didn't they announce a season 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're set for another season, which is great because if they hadn't, I would be even more mad about how the last 45 seconds. The last 45 seconds. Like if they hadn't, I would be like so mad because I would have just been like, come on guys, you could have put in a little more effort to the last 45 seconds. But you know, I'm more forgiving because they have a season 3 coming. Also shout out to Gwendolyn Christie, who's in the show and has one of the best roles. It is fabulous. And I love her character. She shows up like maybe 3 times in the entire show. And it's perfect every single time. So it's a great show. Awesome. I highly recommend it.
For me, I had a session 0 for a mysterious Marvel Multiverse project. What could it be?
I don't know anything about this or about anyone named Andy.
Yeah. So we'll have some fun stuff coming for some Marvel Multiverse stuff. Stay tuned for that news and stuff. We'll talk more about it once everything's out. But yeah, excited for more Marvel, hypothetically. And then from a video game perspective, I started playing Wanderstop, which is a like cozy tea making game by the creators of the Stanley Parable. I've been streaming that over on Cameron plus Deanna. And so it's one of the things that I've liked about it so far is like it has like a deep story. It's kind of like less cozy and more story, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy as like one of my problems with a lot of like cozy games is that it feels like there's so much you have to do because of the time crunch of like time of day and stuff like that. Whereas
like Stardew or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like for this one, it's just you have various acts, and in those acts, you have to accomplish X number of tasks. And you don't know what the tasks are until you like work through different characters' quest lines and stuff like that. And so I've really been enjoying it. It's a game that had caught my attention because the premise is that you are like this woman who's like one of the best fighters in the realm, presumably in some sort of like gladiatorial type combat. And then you end up losing a bunch of fights in a row and then have gone on this quest to find this person to train you to be better. And on the way, you essentially have a nervous breakdown and then find yourself in this like Yeah, as you would if you're running through the woods. And then you find yourself in this like mysterious, magical like grove that has this magic tea shop. And so your main like NPC, whose name is Boro and is the best, he they are kind of guiding you and helping you get back on your feet and figure out what all is going on in your trauma. And so I really enjoyed the story, especially because it like is so similar to like a TTRPG concept of like your character has gone through some stuff. Now they're on this side quest to figure out who they really are.
Yep.
And I really want to put Wanderstop as a like mystical nexus tea shop into some TTRPG stuff of like this tea shop that exists like outside of the realm that the characters are playing in, and then they can like find their way there after getting lost. Stuff like that I think would be super cool. So I'm enjoying that. It's not a super long game, and so from what I've seen, but it has a really good story, and so I'm liking the NPCs and their kind of narratives and stuff like that. In the realm of TV shows, you talked about Severance. I have been watching Daredevil Born Again, and Emma, I'm so hyped. Like,
I've seen the first episode. That's it.
Yeah. I do hope eventually we'll do a spoiler cast, something like that, and talk through. I think we're around halfway through the season currently, and so I'm very excited for the stuff that we have been seeing. Very cool to have Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, and so I'm very interested to see where we're gonna go for this tail end of the series. And I will say, without getting into spoilers or anything like that, one of my favorite parts is that they have very successfully captured the Netflix Defenders vibe that we had for the Daredevil show over there.
That was my biggest concern.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people were concerned about that after the tone of Daredevil in She-Hulk. Where, like, obviously that show is so much brighter and sillier. And so people were worried that that was going to be the tone that carried over into this show, and that's definitely not the case. I think pretty early trailers kind of revealed that we were at least not going to be like that. As much as I enjoyed, I enjoyed getting to see Charlie Cox's Daredevil actually have fun and like not go through all the horrible stuff that he goes through in
the man
Kitchen.
got his break from terrible things.
Yes.
Now it's back to some terrible things.
Right. Yeah. Should he just never go back to Hell's Kitchen? Possibly. I'm not saying that would
Jury's
be a bad
still
idea.
out on that one, but the answer is probably don't do that.
Yeah. Maybe he should move to West Coast, Best Coast, and just hang out with She-Hulk all the time.
I'll welcome him here.
Yeah, life would be a lot better.
I don't need a lawyer for anything, but...
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's been a great show so far. Very much looking forward to more, and getting to see where we're going to see these characters go, both in terms of these projects, but also in other projects. And then last thing for me, it's kind of a handful of things, but I had got a surprise visit from a friend from high school. And so I say surprise. It's not like they just like showed up at my door, but a friend of mine ended up coming into town for the weekend because of some other stuff that was going on. It was good stuff. They weren't here for like a sad reason. But they were like, hey, I'm available at these times if anyone wants to hang out. And it was like the exact times on Saturday I was available. And so it was really cool to see them. We went and grabbed brunch, and then they came over and they helped me brew because I am brewing 2 gallons of mead and my first cider. And so,
heck yeah.
Yeah, they helped me with all of that. And then we played Parks, the board game. And of course, chatted, caught up, all of that kind of stuff. It's been a couple years since I've seen them. And we went to high school together. And so it's been great to get to spend time. They don't live in DFW anymore. So like, they're not in the like high school friends that still hang out group that I'm in because they're not here all the time. But it was very cool to see them. Ironically, I've seen their husband more often. And so
interesting,
because he came in for like a Spider-Man thing when I went and saw Spider-Man, the Spider-Man like live orchestra. So But it was very fun, very great to see him. And then, yeah, of course, fun to get some stuff brewing. I went and bought some new bottles and stuff like that as well. So, like, in like a little wine or like bottle rack, so I can store my bottles more efficiently. And then, yeah, also picked up some new books. I'll talk more about those once I read them. But I did post some pictures over in the Discord if people want to check that out.
Nice.
That is what we've been up to. If you're watching live, hit us up with what you have been up to. We'll talk about that over in the post-show chat. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our news topics for today. Remember, we got the Doctor, the Assassin, and the Wizard. Emma, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. Well, first things first. A couple weeks ago, we got the episode titles for this next season of Doctor Who. They are as follows: The Robot Revolution, Lux, The Well, Lucky Day, The Story and the Engine, The Interstellar Song Contest, Wish World, and The Reality War. So that makes for 8 episodes for this season. A good chunk, and by a good chunk, I mean 5 of them are written by Russell T Davies, so they should be pretty decent.
Let's go.
We love a good Russell T Davies moment. The most interesting in both the trailer and by title, I think, is the Interstellar Song Contest, because that's just whatever that means. I want to see it. Also, I'm Googling
as someone
this
who
now.
loves goofy Doctor Who, I'm so excited for the Interstellar Song Contest. Like, obviously, like, I love the drama and I love the series episodes as well, but I love me a goofy episode. And so
I would also like to make a shout out to the episode called Lux for a very specific nerdy reason. And that is the fact that one of the astronauts in Silence in the Library is called Strackman Lux, and he was the grandson of the guy who built the library. And because Doctor Who is known for its intertangled, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, I'm excited to see what happens with this. I don't think it has to do with that, or whatever. It's also a species of alien that exists in the world. So there could be anything going on with this. But that's just a fact I want to point out. I'm excited. We also got the trailer, which features stuff from these, episodes. Some segments even include animation, like they're transformed into animated characters. So yeah, I still hate that Disney has their fingers in Doctor Who. It's primarily financial, but I don't like it because everything just starts out as, oh, we're giving you money to continue this thing. And then it either flops or they take over. And I don't want my fun, silly little British TV show Americanized. But I'm still excited for this, and I hope it turns out good. I had some loves and dislikes about the last season with this new edition of Disney stuff happening, and Russell T Davies returning. I hope that it continues to go uphill from here. Because we've lost what's-his-face, whose name we shall not mention, the last showrunner, who none of us liked. So, yeah, jury's still out on whether or not it's going to be a good season. And by jury, I mean I, because
yes,
I've been around for too many years.
Let that watch an ambiguous amount of time.
Too many years. It's been at least 15, if not more. So I have opinions.
I do want to remind people
So
that we do have our spoiler cast for the first season of Doctor Who over on our
yeah, we do.
YouTube. Future Cameron will hopefully remember to put a thing up somewhere, so we're going to do the hand thing so I can find this later. But yeah, and kind of echoing the things that you said, there were some episodes of the first season that like were fantastic, and then there were a handful of other ones that felt like they could have used either another pass or like shouldn't have been a standalone episode.
Yeah.
I feel like I know there was some in specific that we had talked about that would have been a very cool part 1, part 2 of like seeing that, like there's like basically a bottle episode where the Doctor has stepped on a landmine.
Yeah.
And then the next one we see like a war-torn planet, which is not the same planet, but like that would have been an interesting connection. Like
Yeah. And Doctor Who has done those in the past where they've done a part 1, part 2 of a storyline. They've done 2 episodes. And that's how Classic Who even is set up, is their seasons are like 5 or 6 episodes and they're all one story arc. So this show fits very well into that format. We've talked about this. It's based on the titles for this season. That's not happening.
Yeah.
In this season either, which makes me a little sad because I miss those part 1s, part 2s. Even like earlier New Who has done that all the way through Peter Capaldi's Doctor, I think, and maybe once or twice. I only watched Jodie Whittaker's seasons once because I didn't like the showrunner, who shall not be named. I think they did a couple with that one, but don't quote me on that. But I love part 1s, part 2s, and I need them back in my life with this show because they're so good. They're great. Russell T Davies give them to me.
Also in the trailer, I want to call out, we get to see Varada Sithu playing Belinda Chandra. I believe for the first time in the role. I don't remember if we've seen her in other trailers. But we are, of course, getting a new companion, although we do still see Ruby Sunday in the trailer. So she'll at least appear, which makes me happy because I really liked Ruby. And I'm excited to see what Belinda gets up to, and getting to see new companions and new relationships with the Doctor and new connections and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm very excited to see where we go in this. And yeah, should be really cool. It does premiere next month. I believe it's April 12th, is what I saw. And so that'll be very exciting to go and see. Expect to hear us do weekly non-spoiler chats, and then do a spoiler chat once we get through all of them.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else Doctor Who I wanted to say based on the trailer, but I don't think so. I did not even know this trailer had dropped. So like there are times when we do this show where I'm getting the news. That was one of them for me.
It literally dropped like 2 hours ago, which is why. Okay. So
perfect. So, let us know.
As of recording, it dropped 2 hours ago.
As of recording 2 hours ago? Okay. Listeners, let us know. Are you excited for the next season of Doctor Who? Or I guess maybe better, how excited are you? Because you should be excited. And
very.
So, remember, new Doctors are the perfect opportunity to jump into the show. So you would only have a handful of episodes to go and watch if you wanted to go and see this 15th Doctor seasons. And so definitely recommend. But that's going to bring us to our second piece of news for this week, which is, since the last time we recorded, we have gotten the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the latest Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game. It has released to overall very positive reviews, sitting currently at an 81 on Metacritic. When we look at critic rate reviews, and a 59% if you look at our user reviews. I was like, oh, what are people complaining about in the user reviews? And like the third negative review was just woke. So maybe we just don't trust user reviews. Gestures broadly at the internet. Trust the reviews of people that you know and trust, not numbers on the internet. And so, but I have not had a chance to play this yet. It is a game that I'm very interested in because I, like many people, have wanted to see Assassin's Creed go to Japan for quite a while. And so, obviously, we have Ghost of Tsushima now as well, with Ghost of Yotai dropping later this year. And so, I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this game, but I, at some point in time, would like to get it. And so, I might just be
I haven't even finished Mirage, honestly,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. But admittedly, I also haven't finished Valhalla, so like here we are.
I mean, I haven't finished that one either, but that's considerably larger than Mirage.
Yeah,
so
also we'll never finish. I have finished the story of Valhalla, I guess. I just have not. I wanted to 100% that game so bad and did not, and so
no, that's not going to happen.
But the other big thing about Assassin's Creed Shadows is that it did hit 2 million players within 2 days of its release. It surpassed both Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey. And so in terms of that initial launch, so that is great news for the Assassin's Creed franchise and Ubisoft as a whole, who have been struggling with some of their releases the past couple of years, with last year's Star Wars Outlaws not doing great and not hitting sales goals. Maybe you should have done better with the forced stealth sections and not had them be literally miserable. But what do I know? But I also want to call out here, this comes from the IGN article. They did point out that Dragon Age Veilguard from last year struggled to hit 1 million users. And so AC Shadows hitting 2 million this quickly is definitely a positive sign for them. Hopefully that does mean that we'll continue to see some growth in various types of games. We'll continue to see more. Because like I said, this is definitely a game that I've wanted for quite a while, and I am happy to see that it has hit an audience. I know Chunk the Hut over in our Discord has been playing it, and he says he's been really enjoying it. But very happy to see it. And it's on my list of 2025 games I would like to play. So far, I think Wander Stop is the only game on that list that I have actually played. Of course. I didn't mention this in the What I've Been Up To, but that's because I got sucked back into Pokemon because I never finished Pokemon Legends Arceus. And so I got sucked back in and have been playing that instead of making progress on Ghost of Tsushima. And then I don't want to burn myself off on multiple open world games before Ghost of Yotai drops later this year. And so that's the problem there. But again, happy to see that this is going well. Happy to see that, again, generally speaking, the game has been received well. Hopefully that continues and we see some positive growth again for Ubisoft. But if you've been playing it, let us know your thoughts. Again, Discord, in the chats, all of those things. And then let's jump over to a sad bit of news for The Wizard. And this is that Hasbro has reportedly fired 30 of its developers for Project Sigil, which is their virtual tabletop. Apparently, this is 90% of the workforce for this project. And the original pitch of Project Sigil is that it would have been a fully 3D VTT. So think Roll20, but instead of being flat maps, you actually have a physical mini that you're moving around in the world. Apparently, it released to a very negatively received closed beta or something earlier in February. And now this has been completely shuttered. Apparently with the intention of being transitioned into a D&D Beyond feature. But before we talk about Project Sigil as a whole, I want to read this quote because this is bananas to me. That this is apparently this is from an internal memo. that was sent out. But after several months of alpha testing, we've concluded that our aspirations for Sigil as a larger, standalone game with a distinct monetization path will not be realized. Although we haven't fully realized the vision for Sigil to scale, the team should be proud of their achievements. Like, I feel like a VTT with like custom minis, custom maps, all of that kind of stuff, and you can't figure out how to monetize that is like pretty telling. And I will say, like, as we get in, I want to hear what you thought of Project Sigil as a whole, but like, as someone who my fear with Project Sigil was that this was going to be a capitalist hellscape, like, I am shocked that you found no viable monetization path.
Wow.
Like, I do not understand how that is possible. Like
Yeah.
like you couldn't, like, I mean, I'm glad they're not doing this. I'm not glad that Sigil is shut down, but I'm glad that's not like, I was like, how do you not get 2 booster packs of minis? Like,
yeah.
like,
Types
play
of
a game.
terrain, like
Yeah,
building options, you know?
exactly. Like, oh, you want super fancy dice? Here's a blind bag of dice. Which one will you get? 1 in 10 are the super sparkly ones or have rainbow effects when you roll. Like, again, happy that we didn't get to that capitalist hellscape, but I'm confused to how there's not a monetization path to said capitalist hellscape.
Yeah. Like, they're using, there's no way to capitalize this as an excuse to shut it down. When in reality, it's like, that is a system that's just thriving with chances for you to do that. And we all know it. We hate it.
Yeah.
But that's straight facts that's the way it is.
Yeah. Sneaking in chat like sums this up well with be proud and you're fired. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Had you heard of Project Sigil before? Did you have any thoughts about it going into it and stuff like that?
No, I had not heard of it going into it. I do know there's different, like, not Dimension 20, the one you just mentioned.
Roll20.
Roll20, thank you. I have known of systems like Roll20 and other, websites that do, where if you have like a TV built into your gaming table, like it allows you to make maps, digital maps for your games and things. But I hadn't heard of this specific like official version with extra fancy stuff involved to make it more like Roll20. So I feel like that as one thing says a lot, given that my entire life for the past year plus has been D&D related when it comes to hobbies.
Yeah, you play D&D multiple times a week?
A week.
Like, you are the target audience of Project Sigil?
Exactly. I am the target audience, and I hadn't heard about this until literally right before the show when you put it in the show notes, and I was like, oh, what's this? That says a lot. Like, and I go play D&D at a small, locally owned D&D candle store where everyone has their fingers entwined in this thing. Like, we all know a lot about this game. So, like, I hadn't heard of it at all before this. I also don't think a lot of the people I know would use it for their own games. Because we like to build the maps. We like having the physical little buildings and playing with them and taping our minis to underneath the little thingy so to show that they're hanging there or whatever. We like playing with our little figurines because we have fun with that. So we are the target audience in the sense that we, meaning I, like play this game multiple times a week, both in person and online with people like you. But I'm also not, because it's like I like my minis. This is a Warhammer one, so it doesn't count for D&D, but like I like having the physical things so I can go rah 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 when we play D&D. It makes it more fun. I've played Warhammer like once, so I don't know why I have a full set of Warhammer figurines. I just do. But I mean, again, the things that you said, like, it's ripe for capitalizing on when it comes to money, and yet they're using that as the reason to not continue with the project. Kind of silly, kind of ridiculous. Sucks that a lot of those people got laid off. Super unfortunate. And just, yeah, I opened this up again and I saw the photo with stuff from Baldur's Gate. And like, I know people who would have fun using this material. And by people I mean one person, and that is one of my best friends. Just for the fact of being able to play within the world of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, because they've spent hours and hours and hours in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can go into all of the, like, awful monetization that would have been, like, skins and effects, like, dice effects and all of that. But, like, again, this does not seem like a crazy thing to me to just say, hey, we're having X campaign releasing, and if you buy it on Sigil, you get full 3D maps of every encounter, every city. It's all pre-built for you. The same way that you can do that right now with other VTTs, like Roll20. Like, you can buy, you get the map pack, but like, imagine if it was like this huge 3D thing that was built out, and like, instead of just seeing top down, you're like navigating your characters around in a much different way. Like, that seems like a really cool thing that, like, I'm in a similar boat to you, hashtag my in-person Marvel Multiverse game, that like, it's my first time playing in like purely in-person campaign since pre-COVID. And while of course I would rather always play in person, like, it's so easy to see how this could have been something super cool for when you play online, because everything's like, I'll pay $20 for the fully built out version of whatever campaign that we're playing. And then like, I don't have to track down maps. I don't have to like that's been one of my problems with the Strixhaven campaign that I've run, is it's like, because I bought the book physically, like all of my maps are physical, but like, oh, if I could have also then bought that and gotten 3D maps, okay, well maybe I'm more likely to double purchase that. Of course, I would love for that all to just be included, but this, again, that seems very unlikely that would have ever happened. But I would have been much more likely to have shelled out money for a full 3D environment for all of these things. And yeah, I'm just shocked. We did get some stuff later on in this article. This is from Gizmodo. And they're reporting on a report from a site called Rascal, but it says further reporting from Rascal alleges that development on Sigil was rocked by a clear lack of vision and divisions between Hasbro's upper management, who had hopes to treat Sigil less like a VTT and more like a standalone video game that could have potentially utilized other IPs across a toy makers and its developers, as well as internal rifts between across the toy maker and its developers, as well as internal rifts between Sigil's developers and D&D Beyond team as they developed the map VTT system, with the latter purpose purportedly denying the former access to internal Beyond data. So like I mean, we both work for capital, like corporate America. Hearing that there are like divisions within a company where somebody is keeping tight with their data is not overly surprising to either of us. And especially like less so for me now, but like,
I edit videos on a daily basis. Yeah. I also deal with spreadsheets on a daily basis.
Yes. Like, and yeah, so like hearing that doesn't surprise me, but like, that's the type of thing that, like, if I was there, like, man, that's CC your director and like, hey, I need this data now. This is a insert corporate mumbo jumbo for our objective for this year or whatever. Like Like, I cannot believe that there are teams there that would just be like this. It's not like a contractor. Like, this is an internal team that is wanting this data. And like, it blows my mind that stuff like that was not given willingly to people, to internal teams, so that they could make a better product. And now this, like, here we are with it crashing and burning. And that unfortunately has cost around 30 people their jobs. And so, yeah, man, again, it's so crazy to me. Again, I don't understand how this project is unsuccessful. Like, that kind of thing. Like, even like, again, not expecting it to do like #1 on the Steam charts or whatever, but like, how do you how do you not launch this with some sort of pre-built tutorial campaign? Like this comes automatically with Minds of Fandelver. Like, here's a bunch of minis. You can create your custom minis within the UI. And like, again, I just don't understand how like you could get to this point where you like, there's no vision for what this is going to be, just because on the outside, it seems so straightforward for how this would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see this being not like, oh, we're not going to get the return. I could see that argument. But again, that's crazy to me that like you are supposed to be like this one of the largest toy companies in the world, let alone WotC side of it. And like, we know from the trailer, and they even reference it in that quote that I just read, that like, I think in the reveal trailer for Sigil, they like zoom out and we see Optimus Prime, like, which again, not what I would want in my VTT, but like,
to each their own.
Yeah, like I could see like, oh, that's cool if the custom character builder allows you to build Optimus Prime, or like you're gonna give us a like whatever holiday like thing every year about a different Hasbro property in the D&D like engine. And so it's like, oh, here's a Transformers one shot. Like, cool. Like, that would be a very fun like seasonal DLC kind of thing. Am I gonna buy that? Not my thing. But like, I know a lot of people that are huge Transformer fans that would have made them very interested in. But I don't know. This is something that I hope that we get a book or like an expose about like what happened here. Like, I'm super curious. Like, more so like, I mean, like, obviously the article and the reporting talks a lot about like corporate mismanagement type stuff, but like, I don't know. I'm super curious to the behind the scenes of this, just because again, it seems so crazy to me that this would launch in the state that it reportedly has. And then we would so quickly see this just given up on for lack of a monetary path. Like,
so they say a monetary path.
Yeah, so they say. That's at least their excuse. Yeah. But I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm going in circles here, but like, this legitimately boggles my mind. Like, I just don't understand. How do you not sponsor in actual play? Like, how do you not like bring in whatever and have them like run something in the system and then make that one shot available to customers? Like,
there's so many routes you could take with it.
I just don't understand. But listeners, let us know, comment section, all of that kind of stuff. Like, what do you think about this? Were you interested in Project Sigil? Did you know this existed? Like, definitely curious to hear what people's thoughts were, and what people's like impressions of the system were going into this news. Before we go to a post-show chat, as a reminder, at this point, there's not going to be a book club this month, considering next week is the final Monday of the month. And so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to be back with a book club in April, but keep that in your minds. And then, we'll see kind of where we go from that. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Spoiler cast for Daredevil Born Again once that show finishes. And then with all of the media that is coming out in like April, May, June, like summer months, like be ready for spoiler casts because
so many.
yeah. Because we're going to have, like, we obviously have Daredevil, then we're going to have Doctor Who, then we're going to have Andor, and then we have a lot of the movie releases for the summer, like Thunderbolts. I'm hyped for the new for the new Superman, and then we have Fantastic Four as well. And so some number of spoiler casts for those things as we can get to the theaters and see those films. And so stay tuned over the next couple months as we get all of that going and ready to go. And then, and I should say, with Thunderbolts being the end of Phase 5, if I'm remembering my chart correctly, I would like for us to return to our ranking of all of the MCU projects. And so, because we haven't done that in a while, but stay tuned for that as well once we get into the summer. But let's head on over in the post-show chat right after we do our outro, which is, of course, that you can find us as One Geek 411 around the internet. You can join our Discord server if you want to see any of the pictures that we've referenced or posts that we reference and hang out and just chat with us. Let us know what you have been playing, watching, listening to, all that kind of stuff. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out that Redbubble store, watch live on Twitch and YouTube, and then you can find the VODs over on our YouTube. And then you can find us around the internet on our personal social media. I'm on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, Tome, Storygraph, all of that stuff as Humar Whittle.
I am on the big things, meaning Instagram, because I gave up on Twitter. I still have my account, but I don't check it.
Yeah.
And general stuff. As I am not prepared with an eye on the prepared.
And it's been a great week.
It's bigger on the inside.
Roll some physical dice.
Yeah.